Our topic today, issue number 2, clean technologies. As we mentioned before, that the first lecture we presented the economic effects of COVID-19, and today our lecture related to the clean technologies. The first item, we present some definitions about clean technologies, but the first term we talk about technology. Technology can be defined from different views. For example, from managerial view or managerial perspective, technology is the practical arts, skills, knowledge, and procedures for manufacturing and using useful things. Another definition, technology is the application of science through relevant relationships. This is the definition of technology from managerial perspective. In case of economic perspective or economic view, we can talk about technology as a relationship between inputs and outputs. In case of inputs related to the factors of production. We can talk about labor, land, capital, entrepreneur as the inputs, and the outputs generally outputs refer to the goods and services. Another definition for the technology, the relation or technical relationship between inputs and output. What about the term clean? Clean generally refers to the environment concept. So, clean technology or abbreviation Cleantech or green technology. In this case, technology can be defined as the phenomena that comprises the production of multi-uses of goods and services and processes. Another definition of clean technology, the installation of all or some production components was adopted for limiting or and eliminating the pollution. So, clean technology, we can talk about integration of technology to limit the pollution and limit the waste and limit the environmental negative effects. This is the term of clean technology. What about cleanup technology and clean technology? In case of cleanup technology, this is the first term. This is indicates failing environmental damage through developing certain measures for limiting pollution and fixing them. Yes, it's known as the end of pipe technology. Cleanup technology we can call end of pipe technology. Generally, technology didn't take environment consideration into account from the beginning. If you design any production process, the environment elements or considerations or factors ignored. This is in cleanup technology. But in case of clean technology, you take into account in the production process, in designing a production process, the environmental aspects or environmental goals. The next, what about the investments in the clean technologies? From the year 2004 and to the year 2015, there is a low investment in clean technology when we comparing to the gross domestic product. What about this percent? 0.4. 0.4, this is the percent of clean investment in clean technology divided to GDP as a world indicator or a world measure. But what about the 16%? 16% refers to this is the gross rate in the clean technology or in investments in clean technologies. What about 5%? This is the average increase in total of the world GDP over the time from 2004 to 2015. So, between the time or between the years 2004 to 2015, 0.4, this is the percent of the total investments in the clean technology sectors divided GDP for the world, and 16%, this is the gross rate in the investments of clean technologies or in clean technologies, comparing with 5%, this is the growth rate for GDP. So you can know that 16% greater than 5%, there is increasing in the gross rate for investment in clean technologies. The next, what about elements of clean technology investments? CTI. CTI, abbreviation for clean technology investments. The first element, we talk about the geographic nature of the host country. So, what about the priority for this country? For the investment in new fields of renewable energy technology, in the new sources of technology. This is the first time. Geographic area. For your info, for your info, Egypt for the top 10 cities for the solar energy. Egypt ranked as three cities in Egypt ranked in the top 10 for the annual hours of sunshine in the world. What about the next? We talk about rules, regulations, and procedures related to clean technologies. The last one, BLC, abbreviation for product life cycle. Product life cycle, this is a very important area in management. Talk about the stages for the product from the beginning to maturity to the declining stages. So, in general, elements of clean technology investment talk about geographic. This is the nature of the resources, availability of natural resources for a given country. The second one, rules and regulations and another factors. And the last, product life cycle. What about the barriers of clean technology investment? The barriers for clean technology investment, number one, infra. In case of infra or infrastructure barriers, this is limited and poor project under construction. For example, insufficient awareness of investors and organizational and institutional restrictions. Generally, infrastructure, this is the main barrier to invest in clean technology. Poor infrastructure and the poor of the awareness for investors. The second, core barriers like related to high level of risk to invest in clean technology. What about the risk? In case of risk, we talk about relationship between the price, how you can pricing the clean technology products, and some actions related to subsidies for this sector. The last barriers related to financial barriers. Financial barriers, how to finance the clean technology sector. This is the most important, how to finance. Maybe we can use new methods to finance like green bonds and green finance. The next, the governmental rule in clean technology. Any government try to deal with the clean technology as a public good. Public good, this is this is different to private good. In case of public good, clean technology as a public good, so private sector cannot provide the clean technology alone. So in this case, the role of government, how to adjust the market failure by the following policies or the following actions. Number one, try any government try to design direct policies to support the clean technology. How to adjust at the government, how to adjust the market failure. This is the first action, direct policies to enhance, to encourage the clean technology sector. The next, technology neutral. In this case, the governmental policies must be technologically neutral. How, in other words, we can describe how neutral for technology. So the governmental objectives and tools must be directed to facilitate clean technology. In this case, the government play the key role to support the sector of clean technology and eliminate the crowding out effect. Yes, we talk about the government role plus private sector role. But there is a balance between the government role and the private sector role to encourage the clean technologies. Mainly, in case of technology neutral, this is the concept how the government play and design direct policies to play the important role to prevent the crowding out effect. Crowding out means that we talk about the prevent of private sector to play his role. The last, comprehensive government strategy. This is this action related to how to promote the clean technology, how to promote at the government the clean technology. Yes, any government needed to design comprehensive government strategy. So in this case, talk about multi-sectors, multi-responsibility for the government's parts. The last one, this is very important rule for the government. What about the pricing? Pricing policy of energy. In case of pricing, we talk about the fair price. Fair price to create benefits for private sector and to create benefits for all the residents in this country. What about incentives? In case of incentives, yes, mainly in case of clean technologies, clean technology required high cost to adapt clean technology concept. So the role for the government, how you can minimize the total costs of clean technology or share the costs with the private sector. What about incentives of clean technology? The first, this is traditional incentives. Traditional incentives talk about classical incentives like progressive pollution tax. Progressive pollution tax. In case of progressive pollution tax, yes, when pollution increase, the tax rate increase. There is a positive relationship between the tax rate and the pollution level. This is the pollution tax or progressive pollution tax, one of traditional or classical incentives of clean technologies. The same, any government try to adapt subsidies or support subsidies for the private sector. Another incentive, we talk about agreements. Agreements between the government and business sector. Why? Firms participated in reducing the environment burdens in the country. Yes, in this case, we talk about sustainability. Agreement, there is a contract between the firms or the business sector and the government. Suppose in Egypt, Egyptian government tried to decrease the pollution by 5% this year. In this case, the Egyptian government tried to create agreement between the Egyptian government and the business sector or firms to decrease the pollution by the target percent. Direct and indirect incentives. In case of direct related to promotion or purchasing clean technology products by firms. Yes, in this case, talk about the direct incentives. How the government promote the purchasing of clean technology by firms. Indirect incentives, we talk about some programs in the worldwide to reduce the level of pollution, like KAP and trade program. This is an important program in the world. The last, demand incentives. In this case, the government should support or encourage customers or consumers to purchase the clean products, clean technology products. Generally, we can talk about supply side when we talk about the firms or production or the business sector. When we talk about or focus on the customer or clients, in this case, we talk about the demand side incentives. Next, clean technology intensive goods. Clean technology intensive goods. Generally, the clean technology is a part of environmental goods. Environmental goods, this is the umbrella for the clean technology products. Two organizations interested in the environmental goods, for example, OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. OECD, this is an international organization to enhance to support cooperation between countries. What about the environmental goods in case of OECD classification? 164, this is the number of environmental goods. HS code, abbreviation for harmonized system, like ID. Any product has ID in the wallet, in the balance of payment, to import or export. APEC classification, Asia and Pacific Economic Cooperation. What about number of environmental goods? We talk about 109. 109 HS code or number of environmental goods. Yes, in case of OECD, number of environmental goods greater than number of environmental goods in case of APEC. Clean technology. What about number of products included in clean technology? Mainly 86 HS code. This is mainly when we talk about the OECD, Organization of OECD interested in clean technology. We can define clean technology intensive goods as a group of industrial and consumer goods, two sides. Industrial, this is the production view, and consumer goods, this is the customer or consumption or consumer view, which are not only manufactured for an environmental purpose, but it also for production and final processing purposes. This is friendly for the technology. The next, examples for clean technology intensive goods. Photosensitive semiconductor devices, appliances for pipes, boilers, shells, tanks, vats, and like also filters to limit the pollution. Example for the clean technology intensive goods. What about facts? This table number related to clean technology exports. Clean technology export is column number 1 years, column number 2 clean technology exports, change or gross, and total exports and change for total exports. Generally, this is the percent, 2, this is 5, 12, this is the gross in clean technology exports, but gross in total exports 17, 22, 13, 19. So what about negative? In case this negative, this is declining in clean technology by 15%. At the same time, declining in total export for the world, greater by 23%. Yes, this is the average of gross for clean technology exports and total exports for the world. Mainly, what about the last or updated value in the year 2019? This is 529 billions of dollars. The volume of clean technology export for the world, 529 billions of dollars. What about the total export at the same year? We talk about 18 trillions of dollars, 18.7 trillions of dollars. The same facts. Top 10 exporters of clean technology. For example, for the year 2015, China 19%, and USA, Germany, Japan, Italy, UK, Korea, France, Mexico, and Hong Kong. Top 10 countries or leading top 10 countries share 69% of the world total exports of clean technology. This is puzzle because China and USA the leading in exports of clean technology at the same time leading in the pollution level globally. The next, top 10 importers, the same developed countries like USA, China, Germany, and the percent 53%. Mainly in case of exports and imports, this is intra-trade between developed countries, from developed to developed countries. This is the pattern of trade. What about carbon or CO2 emissions? From the year 1960 to the year 2012, this is the level or trend for CO2 emissions, and this is upward level or upward curve. This is increasing in the level, increasing in trend, positive trend for CO2 emissions from the year 1960 to 2012. The same. What about the sources of CO2 emissions? Sources of CO2 emissions from the same time in 1960, China, USA, Japan, Germany, the top 10 countries in the CO2 emissions. What about the percent? Percent from 49% to 56%. The main sources of CO2 emissions in the world talk about countries like China and USA. This is a puzzle or paradox. China and USA, the top leading in case of exports and imports of clean technology products. At the same time, China and USA, the top leading countries in case of source of CO2 emissions. So, this is our lecture today. Thank you, and we hope to see you in the next lecture to present the issue number 3, Incoterms. Goodbye. Thanks, my dear students.